Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right into the completely fascinating, sometimes bizarre, and absolutely essential science of what actually happens to your body and mind the second you close your eyes. You know, we spend literally a third of our lives unconscious, yet most of us have no idea about the incredible behind-the-scenes mechanics at play as soon as our heads hit the pillow.
So here's our roadmap for today. 1. Your sleep position matters. 2. Common sleep mistakes. 3. Decoding your dreams. And 4. Sleep glitches explained. We're going to move from the physical mechanics of how you lie in bed all the way to the wildest neurological anomalies your brain produces in the dark.
All right, starting with section 1, your sleep position matters, healing or harming your spine. We're starting grounded in reality here, because how you physically arrange your limbs at night can either heal your body or, well, slowly destroy your back.
Think about it. Every single night, we're making a clear physical trade-off. Take the soldier or starfish positions. You know, sleeping flat on your back. It keeps your spine perfectly neutral, and bonus, it's completely wrinkle-free for your face. But gravity pulls your tongue back, which absolutely ruins your partner's sanity with intense snoring. Then you've got the free fall or stomach sleeping. Guys, this is basically a torture device for your neck. Humans just aren't designed to sleep with their head cranked 90 degrees for 8 hours. And finally, the fetal position. It's the most popular in the world for a reason, right? It's super comforting and it opens your airways. But if you curl up way too tight, you restrict your diaphragm and actually wake up starved for oxygen.
And check out this stark anatomical difference between your left and right side. Sleeping on your left side actually uses your internal anatomy to your advantage. Because your stomach sits below the esophagus connection on the left, gravity literally stops acid reflux in its tracks and helps out your digestion. But roll over to your right side, and suddenly you're fighting gravity. You're increasing heartburn and putting a bunch of unnecessary pressure on your liver and lungs.
Moving on to section 2, common sleep mistakes, everyday behavioral sabotage. Let's look at the perfectly avoidable everyday habits that are secretly ruining your rest. I mean, we do these things constantly without even realizing the biological toll.
65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Listen, your body's core temperature absolutely must drop to initiate sleep. That makes a bedroom temperature in this cool range completely non-negotiable for high-quality rest. If your room is too warm, you're literally forcing your body to fight against its own biological sleep switch, which totally wrecks those deep, restorative sleep stages.
5 to 6 hours. That's the half-life of caffeine. So if you grab a coffee at, say, 4 in the afternoon to power through a slump, half of that caffeine is still buzzing in your system at 10 at night. Even crazier, a quarter of it is still circulating at 4 in the morning. That massive amount of stimulant is secretly wrecking your deep sleep architecture, leaving you feeling totally exhausted the next day.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that you cannot simply stockpile a deficit during the week and pay it off with a massive 12-hour weekend binge. Sleep debt just doesn't work like financial debt. When you scrape by on 5 hours a night during the week and then sleep until noon on Saturday, you aren't actually fixing the damage. You're just inducing this miserable social jet lag by wildly shifting your circadian rhythm.
Now, for all the chronic overthinkers out there, you've got to break the anxiety cycle. If you're lying awake worrying, your brain actually starts to associate your mattress with stress. So use these exact steps. After 20 minutes of tossing and turning, just get out of bed. Go to another room, read something super boring in dim light, and only return to your bed when your eyes are genuinely heavy. You have to fiercely protect the psychological association that your bed is strictly for sleep, not for endless rumination.
All right, section 3, decoding your dreams, the mental theater. Now we're transitioning from the physical environment into the psychological one, looking at the universal archetypes of your subconscious mind. When your brain processes anxiety, it reaches for these powerful physical metaphors to act as your psyche's alarm system. Dreaming of falling? That's just your brain interpreting a profound loss of control or instability in your waking life. Being chased? You're probably running from an unaddressed real-life issue, like a difficult conversation or a heavy responsibility that you're just avoiding. And then there's the classic, losing your teeth. This viscerally disturbing dream connects deeply to our physical sense of self. It often symbolizes a fear of aging, a feeling of lost power, or just really intense anxiety about your appearance.
It's honestly fascinating how our brains universally script the exact same dramatic scenes. Flying usually expresses a sense of freedom or an ambition to rise above your current reality. Showing up naked? Yeah, that taps into our absolute deepest human fears of vulnerability and public exposure. And taking an exam you haven't studied for? Actually, scratch that. It rarely means you're actually unprepared. It almost always reflects imposter syndrome among high achievers. Finally, death. While totally terrifying, dreaming of your own death usually represents a major identity shift. It's like the death of an old version of yourself so a brand new one can emerge.
Which brings us to Section 4, Sleep Glitchers Explained, Neurological Anomalies. We saved the most bizarre content for the climax here, exploring the terrifying but completely normal things that happen when your brain transitions between states.
So, have you ever been lying quietly, feeling totally peaceful, just about to fall asleep, and suddenly your entire body slams awake in an absolute panic?
That heart-pounding experience is just a hypnic jerk. It's a completely harmless glitch. As you fall asleep, your muscles relax, right? But your powering down brain occasionally misreads this sudden loss of muscle tone as actual falling. So it fires a jolt of electricity through your body to catch you. Researchers actually think this is an evolutionary leftover from our tree-sleeping ancestors. It acts as a totally unnecessary emergency response now that we're sleeping safely on flat mattresses.
This builds into even stranger territory with hallucinations. Sometimes your brain essentially leaves the microphone on during transitions. Hypnagogic hallucinations happen as you're falling asleep. You might see weird geometric shapes or clearly hear your name being called just because your conscious mind is lingering while your sleep networks activate. On the flip side, hypnopompic hallucinations happen on the way up, as you're waking. This is where dream content visually and audibly bleeds right into your actual bedroom, simply because your brain hasn't fully switched over to reality yet.
And this leads us perfectly to the infamous sleep paralysis. You wake up completely conscious, but your body remains totally locked down. Normally, a mechanism called REM atonia paralyzes you during sleep so you don't physically act out your dreams. Well, in this glitch, you wake up, but that paralysis doesn't turn off. Unable to move, your panicked brain's threat detection system scrambles for an explanation and often hallucinates a dark, malevolent presence or a demon in the room with you. It feels absolutely horrific, but structurally speaking, it's completely harmless.
Then we have exploding head syndrome. I know, despite the horrific, catastrophic name, this is really just a harmless auditory misfire. As your brain powers down, sometimes the sensory processing doesn't fade gradually like it's supposed to. Instead, your auditory neurons discharge all at once, creating the deafening illusion of a gunshot or a massive cymbal crash happening entirely inside your own skull. Now, if you're severely sleep deprived, you might suffer from microsleeps. This is a highly dangerous glitch where your brain fully powers down for anywhere from 2 to 30 seconds. And the terrifying part, your eyes can stay completely open and you look totally awake to anyone watching, but you are experiencing pure, undetectable unconsciousness. This is exactly what causes so many devastating drowsy driving accidents.
And contrary to popular belief, sleepwalking is not someone acting out a dream. Dream enactment happens in REM sleep. Sleepwalking is actually a deep, slow-wave sleep glitch. It's a disorder of arousal where the body activates its motor systems, walking around, unlocking doors, even preparing food, while consciousness remains entirely shut off. Basically, the body moves purposefully, but nobody is home.
But out of all these bizarre anomalies, the falling, the sleepwalking, the crazy hallucinations, there's one glitch you might actually want to try and induce for yourself.
Lucid dreaming. This is the incredible phenomenon where your brain is deep in a REM sleep cycle, dreaming vividly, yet you suddenly become fully, consciously aware of the simulation. Once you realize you're in a dream, you can literally direct the action. You can fly on command, alter the environment, the whole shebang. And it's not just a myth. It is entirely scientifically confirmed through EEG brain scans and eye movement tracking.
Knowing all these mechanics, the biology and the psychology, from the physical alignment of your spine to the half-life of your afternoon coffee, right down to the primal metaphors your subconscious paints behind your closed eyes, it really leaves you wondering. Tonight, when the lights go out and your consciousness slips away, which deep psychological truth or bizarre neurological glitch will your own brain reveal to you? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, sleep well.